Hey, this is Nicky G and welcome to Better Commander. So anyways, I just started blasting. Ghyrson Starn Kelermorph is a brand new commander from universes beyond Warhammer 40k. This guy, he's got 3 guns, he's got no honor. This is the Tim commander we've all been waiting for, or is it? I don't know, but it sounds like something you say to a cab driver at 6 a.m. Where you going, pal? Hey, Ghyrson Starn Kelermorphs. Get out of my cab, buddy. Hey guys, like, subscribe, check out my other stuff. You can make a difference in this young man's heart. I don't know if it's Ghyrson or Ghyrson, but I'm going to say Ghyrson Starn Kelermorph. 1 red and a blue for a legendary creature, Tyranid human. It's a 3/2 with Ward 2. It has 3 auto stubs. Whenever another source you control deals exactly 1 damage to a permanent or player, Ghyrson Starn Kelermorph deals 2 damage to that permanent or player. The Ward 2 is really good on this guy. When building around a commander like this, we are taking some, let's be generous, lesser played, and by that I mean doo-doo tier cards that become much better with this guy in the field. It's also really nice that he costs 3 mana, as we may be able to recast him when he gets exploded. You know how in the cartoons a little angel appears on one shoulder and gives the character good advice, and then the demon appears on the other shoulder? Well, I just have demons on both shoulders, and they're saying Death Touch, Lifelink, Infect. Well, as far as I know, there are only 2 ways to give them Infect: Corrupted Conscience and Grafted Exoskeleton. Probably not worth it in this deck. But we can get Death Touch and Lifelink all in 1 card with Basilisk Collar. This would be an awesome card on our commander. So this guy was just spoiled, and I don't know what synergies go with him in the deck that he was spoiled with, but let's take a look at some effects that are pretty decent with him on the battlefield. The first thing we need to know is when a card like Fiery Confluence has the first mode chosen multiple times, each of those modes represents a separate damage dealing event. But don't get too excited yet. The second ability is compulsory, we can't choose to ignore it. So with Fiery Confluence, he would deal 3 damage to himself and die with the first instance, and that is no bueno. The other thing to think about is cards like Torbrand are a non-bow with Ghyrson. It's a replacement effect that would increase the instance of 1 damage to 3, thereby failing to meet the requirement to trigger Ghyrson in the first place. Listen, I'm not a judge though. I'm barely coherent half the time, so take this with a trust but verify attitude. But this is how it looks to me. But you know what is good with this commander? Creatures like Goblin Chain Whirler and Dagger Caster. These deal separate instances of 1 damage to lots of things. This triggers Ghyrson for each instance. You want to keep a lookout for cards that say deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control, or each opponent and each creature they control. So cards like Boiling Earth, Cosmotronic Wave have a similar effect. The first card I thought of with Ghyrson was Mana Barbs. This is a punishing effect that our opponents can ignore, but they can't do anything at that point. But it's a symmetrical effect, so we can break the symmetry by getting Ghyrson out. The problem with this is if they just kill Ghyrson, then we're back up the creek with no battle. But there are other punish effects like Burning Earth, which is symmetrical, but we can break that by running few non-basic lands, especially in a budget deck. Punish greedy mana bases. We have Aether Sting, we have Tunneling Geopede, Spitfire Lagak. I think a Spellslinger build would be great with this guy. You have Ral Storm Conduit. You would get lots of triggers and be able to snipe down our opponent's creatures and or our opponents. Throw an Electrostatic Field too. That would go great in this spell heavy deck. Yeah, all you got to do is get your storm count up and then you grape shot somebody to death. Storm decks are nothing new. The framework is already there. Each copy of Grape Shot would trigger Ghyrson separately, amping up the damage. And there are tons of other instants and sorceries that deal small instances of 1 damage. We went through a couple earlier. So you just choose the best of the bunch, the best you can find. You got Electrickery, you have End the Festivities, both awesome cards in this deck. And if you wanted to build the Tim deck and go all in on a creature heavy strategy, you can include all the untappers like Kelpie Guide and Breaking Wave. And these go great with cards like Nettle Drone, Goblin Sharpshooter, Gelectrode, Cunning Spark Mage. The list goes on and on. There are a million creatures like this who tap for 1 instance of damage. I think in a creature heavy deck you also want to include cards like Impact Tremors and Goblin Bombardment. And there's a bunch of cards that create little 1/1 Goblin creature tokens and little 1/1 Devil creature tokens. The Devil creature tokens are particularly awesome because when they die they deal 1 damage, which is going to trigger Ghyrson as well. Hey man, you always want to be drawing cards, so Nib Mizzet Parun, Nib Mizzet the Firemind, these are both fantastic cards. You want to be drawing cards, and these things can just infinite out with our other crazy enchantments like Curiosity and Ophidian Eye. Both of these enchantments are really good with Ghyrson, by the way. Ghyrson is the one dealing the 2 damage, so each instance would trigger Curiosity and Ophidian Eye. And we got our old buddy Tandem Lookout, so this is a functional copy of the enchantments described above. So many cards, my friends, and so little time. I love this design space and the beautiful synergies that Ghyrson creates with cards that don't have homes in any other decks. So what do you think about this gene stealery fella? What would you include? Give me your brain juice, it's delicious and oh so nutritious. I love you. This is Nikki G from Better Commander, signing off.